Goddamn kids with your goddamn D&D, get off my lawn. How's this? Is this a better avatar for me? What do you think? Huh? Better than my day. Get off my lawn. Hey, it's 12:30. It's the 21st day of December 2021. And I'm continuing my controversial day of controversy by reviewing Strixhaven. Yeah. So not really a review, more of a ponder. Now I know my buddy Grim Jim took one for the team and reviewed it and expressed his displeasure with it. And we should note that Strixhaven sales so far have not been very good. And it does seem that the 5e crowd is finally waking up and turning against Wizards of the Coast and the choices they are made based upon the responses the 5e crowd is having to the errata. So to a certain individual who feels that 5e is stronger than ever and this is all being done in Gygax's name, nope, you are losing ground and none of this is being done in Gygax's name. So let's address Strixhaven. So first and foremost, let's remember that Strixhaven is a completely separate entity to the sacred Dungeons & Dragons timeline. It's an adventure. It's not a campaign setting. And it's part of the Magic the Gathering universe, not part of the core Dungeons & Dragons universe. So like Rime of the Frost Maiden took place on Dungeons & Dragons Prime. But Strixhaven takes place in the Cosmos multiverse of the Magic the Gathering and is based upon a Magic the Gathering set and is an adventure. It's not a campaign setting. It could have been a campaign setting, but no. And also just, it is not the first time a Magic school setting has been done or D&D prom has been done. It probably won't be the last. So in Strixhaven, we have a lot of new, different, revolutionary rules and ideas that up to now, we haven't really seen. It is definitely not your typical adventure for Dungeons & Dragons. There's a lot of weird new rules, choices, ways to do things, non-combat resolution, relationships. Apparently you can boink a dragon. I don't know. It's, D&D prom and going to D&D school and eating lunch in the D&D cafeteria and cheating on those D&D tests and, trying to get a date with a D&D girl who's one class higher than you and trying to understand your D&D logic, D&D homework, and making sure you get at least a passing grade so you can keep your D&D financial aid before the D&D school kicks you out and your parents get all upset at you. So yeah, it's supposed to be Magic College. It's a first level through 10th level adventure. And the big thing, the thing that so many people are upset about is the new and different rules and the new direction. So I've said this before. I've said this a couple times. And here's what I think. And I could be wrong, but here's what I think. I think Wizards of the Coast, or at least someone in Wizards of the Coast, realizes that maybe they have gone too far. The sales for Dungeons & Dragons this year are drastically reduced from the sales of Dungeons & Dragons last year. And Hasbro is making Wizards of the Coast aware of that. And also making Wizards of the Coast aware you're no longer our special baby. We've got other companies that are doing stuff for us that are the exact same or better than what you're doing. Look at Essence D20. It's not being made by Wizards of the Coast. It's being made by somebody else. So based upon the great, amazing history Wizards of the Coast has as making colossal mistakes with the gaming industry, I'm looking at you, 4th edition, and looking at the colossal mistakes they have made before Strixhaven, now here's Strixhaven with all these rules. And I think it's an experiment. I think Wizards of the Coast is presented with two possible outcomes. If all the new experiments work in Strixhaven and it sells to some level of success and people are actually excited by it, then Wizards of the Coast can say, see, this is correct. This is what our players want. They want to get away from the problematic issues and the problematic races. and the problems of combat and all the things everybody's supposedly complaining about. They want relationships, and they want culture, and they want interactive players, and they want communicating, and they want non-combat scenarios. This is what they want. Strixhaven is what they want. So we could go forward saying that, well, Strixhaven sold really, really well, so we know this is what our players want, so we can implement this experiment into whatever's coming out in 2024. That's scenario number one. But scenario number two with this experiment is, what if Strixhaven doesn't sell? What if the complaints keep coming up? The errata came out, a week ago? Nothing positive that I have seen about the errata. Nothing positive. And the single loudest voice protesting the errata, protesting the problematic issues that the errata seek to change, 5e players. Dozens of 5e players that I have spoken to and I have seen talk about it are completely against the errata, completely against destroying the lore, and are reacting to Strixhaven going, no, this isn't what we wanted. So if Strixhaven doesn't sell, which as of today it's not, if Strixhaven, sorry there, buddy, but your Strixhaven is not Gygax's second gate. It's not the second coming, and it's not the big end of the decade or whatever it is you're spouting off with your bullshit. It's not selling well. And if it continues to not sell well, then Wizards of the Coast can go, hey, we were wrong. This isn't what our fans want. Look at the complaints the data dump is getting. This isn't what our fans wanted. Going forward into 2024 with the 50th edition, we can now create a product that doesn't include these rules, doesn't include the new rules and all the stuff that Grim Jim, thanks Grim Jim again for taking the grenade for us, pointed out. All the things the reviews are pointing out that are negative. Wizards of the Coast can say, okay, the experiment failed, because that's what Strixhaven is. It's an experiment. That's why they're choosing, of all the Magic sets, this one, which is not the Magic set most of the people wanted. And that's why they're choosing to have all these experimental new rules and changes and drastically different things in this self-contained dungeon that in no way, shape, or form has any connection to the sacred D&D timeline. Because if it fails, they can just say it was an adventure. Yeah, we made some choices that were specific to that adventure, but they had no way, shape, or form are going to affect Dungeons and Dragons going forward. They were specific to Strixhaven. You're not going to, whatever the next thing we make is, the Dungeon of the Mad Carrot-Eating Triceratops, it won't have any of these rules. We're going to go back to the normal stuff. And we see that you're not happy with the data dump. Well, that was an experiment. The errata dump was an experiment. We can see now that you weren't happy with that. So going forward, we're just going to, continue with what works and ignore Strixhaven and ignore the errata. So if Strixhaven sells, Wizards of the Coast can say, see, we're right. This is what people wanted. Going forward, they can continue to reinforce this idea. But if Strixhaven doesn't sell, and again, so far it's not, then Wizards of the Coast can go, oh, yeah, we made a mistake. We were wrong. This was an experiment. The experiment failed. Going forward, we can go back to what it is that does work for us, which was stuff that we were making 3 years ago. Because, again, D&D sales crashed. Now, obviously, D&D is never going to have as good a year as it did in 2020 because COVID. And people were stuck at home. And people were buying D&D product left and right. And D&D had amazing sales 2018, 2019, 2020. Going into 2021, D&D sales are nowhere near what they were this time last year. But yeah, okay, completely understandable. But, most, if not all, of the 2021 products have sold poorly. And as of today, Strixhaven is selling poorly. And if it continues to sell poorly, Wizards of the Coast can use that as the excuse to not go forward with these experimental rules because it was an experiment separate from whatever Dungeons & Dragons is going to be. So I think Strixhaven is the signpost. Again, if it does well, then sadly that is the direction Dungeons & Dragons is going to go into 2024. But if it does poorly, then hopefully Wizards of the Coast will see the mistake and correct it before it's too late. Maybe. Or maybe I'm wrong. Again, this is just a hypothesis. Check out Grim Jim's thing if you haven't yet. And congratulations, Shadzar, for being called out on a vlog. And congratulations, Aaron, for being completely misquoted on another vlog. It's a wonderful week for all of us. I am your guide to all the tabletop role-playing game news, weather, sports, and general internet nonsense. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe to my vlog yet, please subscribe. Help me hit 1,000 subs by, well, I'm not going to hit it by end of the year, so by my birthday, August 4th, 2022. Till next time, get off my lawn! Get off my lawn!